there! My name's Naomi. I'm one of the librarians at Briggs Library, which is the university library here in Morris, and I'm also on the Public Library Friends of the Library Board. I'm going to read some books today about some of my favorite things, which of course is libraries and books. The first book I'm going to read is called The New Librarian. Watch out for bears. The New Librarian by Allison Donald. It was almost story time. The children were ready. Dee couldn't wait. Isn't it time? She asked, but no one answered. Jack looked around. Our librarian isn't here, he said. Maybe she's just late, said Dee. Miss Merriweather is never late, said Kenzie. Then she's missing, said Dee. Let's go find her. Look, a clue! Footprints, said Dee. They aren't grown-up footprints, said Jack. They aren't kids' footprints, said Alex. Dee looked closer. They're paw prints, she declared. They followed the paw prints among the bookshelves, through a galaxy, into an ocean, and down a runway. And spotted more clues. The librarian's desk feels sticky, said Jack. These books are shredded and torn, said Dee. And then they looked up and saw a new librarian. You're not our librarian. Where's Miss Merriweather? Dee asked. The new librarian shrugged. Will you read us a story? Dee asked. The new librarian nodded. Hooray! Cried the children. A princess story? A pirate story? A book about dragons? The new librarian looked bored. Oh. How about something different? Gemma suggested. Something exciting, said Jameson. Something we aren't allowed to read, said Tom. Could you read us a scary story? Asked Dee. The new librarian's ears perked up. He grabbed a book. About bears! He opened the book and roared. Eee! The children screamed. He growled and stomped and roared some more. The children loved it. Read it again, they cried. Someone's coming, said Dee. It was the missing Miss Merriweather. Sorry I'm late, she said. A volcano erupted in the ancient history section, and there was hot lava everywhere. But it's all cleared up now. Miss Merriweather opened her book. Today's story is Goldilocks and the Three Bears. Ooh, we love bear stories, Dee exclaimed. Once upon a time, there were 3 bears. Papa Bear, Mama Bear, and Oh! Where's Baby Bear? The children cried. I know you're hiding, Baby Bear, said Miss Merriweather. It's time to come out now. The new librarian shuffled over sheepishly. Baby Bear, my dear, you're late for story time too, said Miss Merriweather. The children waved goodbye as Baby Bear stepped back into his story. Now let's start again, said Miss Merriweather. And Baby Bear, a little girl came to their house. Wait, where's Goldilocks? Do you see her? The end. So the next book I'm going to read is called The Fantastic Flying Books of Mr. Morris Lesmore. The Fantastic Flying Books of Mr. Morris Lesmore by William Joyce. Morris Lesmore loved words. He loved stories. He loved books. His life was a book of his own writing, one orderly page after another. He would open it every morning and write of his joys and sorrows, of all that he knew and everything that he hoped for. But every story has its upsets. One day the sky darkened, the winds blew and blew, until everything Morris knew was scattered, even the words of his book. Poor Morris. He didn't know what to do or which way to go, so he began to wander and wander. Then a happy bit of happenstance came his way. Rather than looking down, as had become his custom, Morris Lesmore looked up. Drifting through the sky above him, Morris saw a lovely lady. She was being pulled along by a festive squadron of flying books. Morris wondered if his book could fly, but it couldn't. It would only fall to the ground with a depressing thud. The flying lady knew Morris simply needed a good story, so she sent him her favorite. The book was an amiable fellow and urged Morris to follow him. The book led him to an extraordinary building where many books apparently nested. Morris slowly walked inside and discovered the most mysterious and inviting room he had ever seen. It was filled with the fluttering of countless pages, and Morris could hear the faint chatter of 1,000 different stories, as if each book was whispering an invitation to adventure. Then his new friend flew up to him and landed on his arm. It held itself open as if hoping to be read. The room rustled to life, and so Morris's life among the books began. Morris tried to keep the books in some sort of order, but they always mixed themselves up. The tragedies needed cheering up and would visit with the comedies. The encyclopedias, weary of facts, would relax with the comic books and fictions. All in all, it was an agreeable jumble. Morris found great satisfaction in caring for the books, gently fixing those with fragile bindings and unfolding the dog-eared pages of others. Sometimes Morris would become lost in a book and scarcely emerge for days. He's very lost in this one. Morris liked to share the books with others. Sometimes it was a favorite that everyone loved. Other times he found a lonely little volume whose tale was seldom told. Everyone's story matters, said Morris, and all the books agreed. At night, after all the stories that needed telling had been told and everyone had settled down to their proper places on the shelves, the great big dictionary would get in the last word. It was then that Morris Lesmore would once again write in his own book. He wrote of his joys and sorrows, of all that he knew and everything that he hoped for. The days passed, so did the months, and then years and years. And Morris Lesmore became stooped and crinkly. But the books never changed. Their stories stayed the same. Now the books took care of him, just like he had cared for them, and they read themselves to him each night. Then one day he filled the last page in his book. He looked up and said with a bittersweet sigh, "I guess it's time for me to move on." The books were sorry, but they understood. Morris put on his hat and took his cane. As he went to the door, he turned and smiled, then waved goodbye. "I'll carry you all in here," he said, and pointed to his heart. The books waved their pages, and Morris Lesmore flew away. And as he flew, he changed back to the way he'd been that long ago day when they'd all first met. The books were quiet for a while. Then they noticed that Morris Lesmore had left something behind. "It's his book," said his oldest friend. Inside was Morris's story, all of his joys and sorrows, all that he knew, and everything that he hoped for. Then the books heard a small expectant sound. There in the doorway was a little girl. She looked around with wonder. Then something fantastic happened. Morris Lesmore's book flew up to her and opened its pages. The girl began to read, and so our story ends as it began, with the opening of a book. The end. The next book I'm going to read is called Bats at the Library, and this is just kind of a fun one. Bats at the Library by Brian Lies. Another inky evening's here. The air is cool and calm and clear. We've feasted, fluttered, swooped, and soared, and yet we're still a little bored. All this sameness leaves us blue and makes us ache for something new. Then word spreads quickly from afar. A window has been left ajar. Can it be true? Oh, can it be? Yes, Bat Night at the Library. The sky is lively as we race together toward our favorite place. Eager wings beat autumn air. Look, that's it. We're almost there. It's the library. Then squeezed together wing to wing, we rocket through the opening. We've waited for this night all year, but this is it at last. We're here! For most old bats, this isn't new. They've got lots of things to do. They'll flutter off and lose themselves among the books lined up on shelves. Other bats in munchy moods will study guides to fancy foods or hang out by a lamp instead to talk about the books they've read. But little bats will have to learn the reason that we must return. The ones who haven't come before have no idea what's in store. Some of them will drift away and figure out a game to play, like shaping shadows on the wall or wingtip tag around the hall. This big box is loads of fun, blasting brighter than the sun. Instead of copying books from shelves, we can duplicate ourselves. Doesn't matter where you look, there's nothing like a pop-up book. The fountain water's nice and cool and makes a splendid swimming pool. Please keep it down, you must behave. The library is not your cave. It's hard to settle down and read when life fleets by at dizzy speed, but story time is just the thing to rest a play-exhausted wing. And if we listen, we will hear some distant voices drawing near. Louder, louder, louder still, they coax and pull us in until everyone, old bat or pup, has been completely swallowed up and lives inside a book instead of simply hearing something read. Look at all these bats inside of the books. There's a bat. It's Pippi Longstocking. A bat is Aladdin. Breathless, lost within the tale, no one sees the sky grow pale. What is that light? A lamp? The moon? Our bookish feast can't end so soon. It feels as though we've just begun, but now we leave our books half done. Through the window into sky, it's much too late, we've got to fly. But maybe a librarian will give us bats this chance again and leave a window open wide to let us share the world inside. For now, we'll dream of things we've read, a universe inside each head. Every evening, one and all will listen for that late night call. Can it be true? Oh, can it be? Yes, Bat Night at the library. All right, so the last book I'm going to read today has nothing to do with books or with libraries. It just happens to be my favorite children's book. So I thought I would read that one for you today. It's called We Don't Eat Our Classmates. We Don't Eat Our Classmates by Ryan T. Higgins. Hey kids, you will never be eaten by a T-Rex. They are extinct, I promise. Penelope Rex was nervous. It's not every day a little T-Rex starts school. What are my classmates going to be like? Will they be nice? How many teeth will they have? This was very important. Penelope's mom bought her a new backpack with ponies on it. Ponies were Penelope's favorite because ponies are delicious. Penelope's dad packed her a lunch of 300 tuna sandwiches and 1 apple juice for a hungry, hungry kiddo. Finally, the big day came, and Penelope Rex was very surprised to find out that all of her classmates were children. So she ate them, because children are delicious. Penelope Rex, said Mrs. Noodleman, we don't eat our classmates. Please spit them out at once. So she did. It was not the best way to start school. Still, Penelope was determined to have a good first day. She tried hard to make friends at recess. She finger-painted some of her best work. She even saved Griffin Emery a seat at lunch. You can sit here. Penelope started to notice that everyone was making friends but her. It was lonely.
she got home, her dad asked her how her first day of school went. I didn't make any friends, Penelope cried. None of the children wanted to play with me.
Penelope Rex, her father asked, did you eat your classmates?
Well, maybe sort of just a little bit.
Sometimes it's hard to make friends, said her dad, especially if you eat them. You see, Penelope, children are the same as us on the inside, just tastier. That gave Penelope a lot to think about.
The next day, Penelope tried really hard, but poor Penelope, she could not stop herself from eating her classmates.
Mrs. Noodleman, Penelope ate William a moto again.
And they were all afraid of her. Except Walter. Walter was a goldfish, so Penelope tried to make friends with him.
Will you be my friend?
Chomp!
Eee! cried Penelope. He's eating my finger! Wah!
Once Penelope found out what it was like to be someone's snack, she lost her appetite for children. She stopped eating her classmates, even when Cece Woodman spilled barbecue sauce all over herself. And soon Penelope made friends.
Found you. Want a brownie? I helped make them.
Now, even when children looks especially delicious, she peeks at Walter and remembers what it's like when someone tries to eat you. And Walter the goldfish stares right back at her and licks his lips. Because dinosaurs are delicious. All right, that's all the books I have for today. I hope you enjoyed this story time.